Welcome to our coverage of the Rakaia Classic motorcycle event. It was run around the streets of Rakaia, a town which is normally exceedingly quiet and focusing on rural activity. But for this particular Sunday, it was a totally different sort of noise with a lot of characters having a lot of fun. And one of the people who's made it all actually possible is the president. Now this is a huge feat for you guys to have so many people and so many machines on a day like this.
Oh yeah, it's great. Last year we had 52 riders. This year we've got 67, I think it is, from all over the South Island, Nelson, Blenheim, Invercargill. They always come to our races, but this is the second year we've had Rakaia, and hopefully it's a great success.
Tell us a wee bit about CAMS, because it's a club which hasn't been around that long.
It's been around, I couldn't actually tell you the very beginnings of it. At the time when I joined, I was probably one of the younger members. But our philosophy, do you know our philosophy on the club?
No, I want to know.
Oh, okay, sorry. Is that we don't actually recognise winners. We're all winners really, just by being out there and competing. But we do have prizes, and that's usually for at the end of the year at our AGM, and that's made up out of a series of points races. Guys score points out of 10 for their motorbike gear and helmet. Doesn't have to be new, just so long as it's tidy and presentable. They get points out of 10 again for their bike. It's to get bikes out there clean and presentable. And then they get 5 points for the first race just by finishing. They don't have to get first or anything. And the same with the second. And that goes over 6 rounds, and then we have a winner.
If I can be so bold, it's a very clean image, which isn't always associated with bikes, especially British ones.
Yeah, true. That's why I got my hair cut today. Yeah, no, that is Robbie right. Bikers sometimes have a bad image, but by doing it under safe conditions like this, it can only promote our sport. And we have a wide variety of ages. I think the youngest member's 15, my son, and our oldest member's 80 odd, I think.
He's about 82.
82, is it? Sorry, yeah.
But isn't it great that you can get people in their 70s and 80s actually out there riding handlebar to handlebar?
Exactly, and I like to charge up the front a little bit, but if there's an older guy in the front of you, you give them plenty of room and they're never a problem, and we don't cause them a problem.
It looks very clean racing.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about. There's no big sheep stations up for a prize, so yeah, guys treat everyone with respect. We like to ride hard, but we don't try and take each other out.
If somebody wants to get involved for whatever reason, whether they've got a bike or not, how do they find somebody from CAMS?
We're in most of the motorcycle newspapers that go around, and some of the magazines, but the best way is to write to us probably at our PO box.
Which is a Christchurch box number?
Yeah, it's 16335 Christchurch. But otherwise, come out to race meetings at Ruapuna or Timaru and you'll find us. Or the bike shops is another good way.
It seems as though that the older guys and the more experienced ones are really there to help the younger ones get established and work on their bikes with them.
Yep, that's true, and any new members we have that join our club, we try to have a buddy system so they're not left by themselves, and there's people there to help them out.
One of the people who's got a reputation for helping others, Bill, you've been in this job for a wee while now?
Oh yes, I've been involved in the motorcycle industry and the competitive side since I was 15, 16. We have a family business, so I'm still involved in motorcycles. Yeah, I am. And early on I was sort of racing competitively, not road racing so much, but motocross and scrambles was then, motocross and beach racing and that sort of thing. And then as I got a bit older and pulled out, the classic scene started, and I got involved in this carry-on. I don't know why, but I did.
There's many asking themselves the same thing.
Yeah.
What is it about the classic bikes that draws so many people, and especially people at an older age that come
Yeah,
in?
it's just a nostalgia. I think like the noise and seeing the old bikes that they disappeared for so many years. Some of these things they just ended up in sheds and they just weren't used. They became obsolete. This old Norton of mine over here, which is probably quite valuable, I'm not going to sell it. You could have bought that for £40. No one wanted it. It was just an obsolete old motorbike. But now it's quite an old classic, 1936 International Norton, quite a classic. So it's just the noise and what they are, I think. Yeah.
Being involved with the industry, you can probably let people know where they can track a bike down without spending half of their mortgage.
There's not too many left, really. They generally get bought from person to person. They don't often get advertised. Someone will think of selling that to upgrade to something else, and they'll know somebody who wants it. So there's not a lot of advertising. I don't put many people onto bikes, really. No.
So somebody needs to get the word out that they're looking for something.
Yes, there's probably more happens in Christchurch too. In Dunedin, we only have about 6 or 8 classic races, really, that come up to these events. There's not very many more, whereas a lot of these fellas come from Christchurch, and there's more known about the bikes that are here, or from the Christchurch area.
Yeah, tell us a wee bit about your bike, because it's had an interesting pedigree.
Well, I brought the motor out some years ago from America. It's a Gold Star, it's a DVD Gold Star, 57 model, and I built it up with BSA parts because we were BSA agents. As a dealer, we were BSA way back since before the war, and I used all BSA parts. But over the years that I've raced it, I've put different forks in it. I've put Norton front brake. I've put a Norton gearbox in it, improved it. So it's actually better than a BSA, in my opinion. It's got better fittings, and it's been successful. Yeah.
It doesn't matter that you've ended up making it a little less than what it was.
No, well, it was never an original Gold Star anyway, really. I mean, it was a motor, but it was just a built-up special, and that's what it is now.
Can you get away with that in cams? Can you sort of do specials?
Yes, you can, as long as it's got parts that are sort of the same era, like the Norton brakes, much the same, the gearbox is in the 50s. So as long as you use those components, it's okay. Yeah.
The development of it, have you got it as far as you want to take it?
Yes, it is. I couldn't do a lot more to it, really. It may become unreliable if I try to do much more, but I've recently put it onto alcohol, which keeps it cooler and makes it does go better, and it's better on the motor, it's easier on the motor, and the fuel it uses is 2 or 3 times as much, but for all you use it doesn't make a lot of difference. So it's an alcohol.
I was going to say, you put the bike on alcohol, and you're not sure about yourself.
Oh no, don't bother with that.
Really, it's a case of just popping around and seeing some people and yourself. Can you tell us a wee bit about your career at motorbike riding and what you're doing here and what you're with?
Well, actually, my career in motorcycles has been very short. I only started this in about 8 years ago, and I got talked into it because I used to race on speedway and sprint cars and modifieds and stock cars and all that carry on for many years. And then I got talked into this, and I didn't really like the idea of it. And my first race was the Greymouth Street race, and everyone ragged the hell out of me about, this, that, next thing. And 62 years of age is sort of getting a bit past us, you would think. And I went out there and I beat the shit out of all of them. That really impressed me.
And so from then on, you were dead in the water, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely, yeah, you're right there. Well, it's interesting now, I got the wife involved and my son. My son's a bit upset with me right now. He seems to think I cut him off going into a corner, but never mind. It's,
So 3 in the family are actually racing?
yeah.
Who does all the maintenance?
Well, actually, we do our own bits and pieces, but in the major motor work, we got an elderly gentleman who looks after them. We just take them out and give them to him, and he goes through them. Ray Granville, and I bought that off him, that bike actually, and that bike in question was the first. It was raced at this Brighton Street race by Jerry Dunlop. If you know Jerry Dunlop, yes. He only got killed last year, or early this year, I can't remember. And he raced that up there. A lot of fun though.
It's a pretty laid-back sort of a weekend, isn't it?
Well, not when you're out there. There's no quarters given, You know, even though it's supposed to be a fun thing and it's technically no winners, everyone's out there to try and keep their nose out front the best they can. But it gets hard.
Yeah, tell me about the family dinners when the three of you are competing at the weekend.
At the which week?
The family dinners when it's a competition weekend.
Oh, no, we all...
Try not to talk about motorbikes.
No, yeah, we actually, the woman of the family tell us off and stop talking motorbikes,
Stop
you know.
talking motorbikes.
You talk something indifferent, you know, and all you talk about, because my boy raced yesterday and beat them all down at Timaru, so he's feeling quite high, and he come there, we were talking about last night, and we get, shut up, don't talk about motorbikes, you know.
So we've heard the gentleman side of it. What about the lady side of that, competition type talk?
I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I don't go out there to win because I know that I'm not going to win. I just go out there to have fun.
What draws a woman into riding motorbikes competitively?
It's very hard to describe. It's the challenge. It's the high you get with racing. It's a bit of a daredevil thing. It's really good.
Now, it is a family affair. We've just been speaking to your husband, and he says that it's pretty competitive out there. Competitive between you two, or you in different classes?
No. Oh no, I still race in the same class with all the men, but it's very competitive between my husband and his son. And of course, I still have my battles with other people in the race, other men in the race.
You're the only female in this event, but there are others on other occasions.
Yes, there are. Yes. There's not a lot of us though. We're more women. We need more women racing. Show these men.
As far as the technical side, do you get involved with that, or are you able to pass the buck?
Oh, no, I'm very much hands-on. I do the basic tickle-ups and make sure everything's tight and keep my bike clean and fueling. And I've got a bit of mechanical history. We've got a wrecking yard business in Christchurch, so I'm pretty hands-on.
How long have you been riding bikes?
About 5 years, I think.
So you went from not being able to ride one to riding one?
I ride on the road. I've got a Ducati Monster, 900 Ducati, which I ride, and I've been riding for years, maybe 12, 15 years on the road. So it's just one step up.
The actual riding of a bike is very different to driving a car, and people who say they do it, they can't get enough of it. It's the outlaw spirit, I suppose, is it?
Well, I suppose it's the air rushing around your ears or something. I don't know. It is totally different. It's like being in a sedan car in a convertible. You know, it's very hard to describe, but it's good.
But it's a real buzz.
Oh yes, definitely.
And all power to their elbows. We'll be back with more characters and more action straight after the break. Welcome back to our coverage of the Rakaia Motorcycle Classic, and you've just got up off the ground, having been underneath your bike, which is not a very good position. How's it all going?
Yeah, good. Been a good day. Yeah, weather's grouse. No, racing's excellent, nice and hard.
You're going to tell me that was just maintenance, was it? That was just a wee...
do little checks. Yeah, checking the oil, got a wee oil leak, so yeah, just a bit of maintenance, that's all.
But Hondas and things aren't supposed to have...
Well, it's Japanese.
But they don't have them built in like the British bikes.
No, they're natural oil leakers.
That's sort of progressive oil change.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, just got to keep checking.
Tell us about the bike. What's its history and what's it about?
It's a CB350, and I've had it for about 6 years. It's Triumph pistons, it's got bigger valves, sort of hotted up, and not much really to tell. It hasn't been well lightened. It's a Ducati petrol tank.
Yeah, that's why I hesitated when I said Honda, actually.
Yeah.
It didn't look like a traditional petrol tank.
Yeah, Suzuki shock absorbers, and it's a bit so.
It's not a road bike, it's just a straight race bike?
No, just straight racing, yeah. It's easier just to race it. Can't use it for both purposes, yeah.
So tell me about your impression of motorcycle racing and amongst this classic stuff. It seems as though it's bordering on being a disease.
Oh, it is. It's very competitive. It's supposed to be just for the fun of it, but when you go out there, everybody wants to win. Don't have much alternative, actually.
But you actually get a fair bit of motorsport in a season.
Oh, yes, yeah. Every month there could be a meeting somewhere. We could race anywhere from Christchurch to Invercargill. There's a couple of meetings up in the North Island, sort of thing, if you wanted to. Every month there'd be a meeting. Winter series for beers. Our CAMS club, we do summer series. It's great.
The cost of running a bike in a year?
Exorbitant. Horrible.
This is not a message to your accountant.
No.
So you are telling the truth, it does cost a lot.
Yes, it's not a cheap motorsport. Even though it's for fun, it's not cheap. Motors can cost you a couple of $1,000. A meeting to race, the entry and everything, you're still spending a couple of hundred, you know, plus sort of thing, travelling and that. That's not too bad.
But if you compare it to golf, it can be not too bad.
Oh, no. I'd like it. Yeah, have a golf. That'd be cheaper, probably.
But the thing is that you could actually do it quite cheaply if you wanted to go in.
Oh, yes, different classes, yes. Yeah, because there's so much variety of what you can race in now, yes, you can make it as expensive as you wanted to. You know, I do because I wanted to go a bit better than everybody, so it cost me more money.
How much of it is checkbook racing?
Well, it's not so much checkbook. It just depends on how far you want to go involved in your bike with clever tyres, clever engine, that sort of scenario. But yeah, if you keep it down to a minimum, it's not bad. But well, I just like spending money.
As you say, the more money you spend, the faster you go.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't matter what you ride, the more money you spend, the better you'll go. If you've got a bit of ability to ride, you'll go good. And especially in this classic stuff anyway. It's not as competitive as Formula One or anything like that, but we still get out there, and the age group is a lot more varied than the other sorts of riding that we range from like 20 years of age to 60 years of age, and all in the same race. Well, you can't get that in anything else.
Well, it may be an event based in Rakaia, but people have come from all over the South Island, including Southland. It's a hell of a long way to come.
Oh, it is, that's for sure. But well worth it. Great fun, great circuit. So excellent racing. Yeah.
A lovely sense of humour with your sign that says that you may bail at any time.
Oh, it's all true.
Is it really scary out there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, street jugs are very dangerous. It's all on. Yeah, but yeah, great fun.
You obviously would race at Teretonga where it's pretty smooth and you know it pretty well.
A lot, yes, yeah, a lot of local knowledge. So yeah. No, it's yeah. So the street circuits are fun though. Get a crowd to misbehave in front of. Yeah, no, it's great.
Different styles between hurtling around amongst lampposts and straw bales and Teretonga, for example.
Certainly. You're never going to touch a knee slider down out there, or you're in big trouble.
Tell me about your competition. It's been pretty strong all day.
Yes, it has. Yeah, it's there's a lot of very determined riders out there. We don't often get a crowd to perform in front of, so you try your hardest.
Yes, a couple of times you said you don't get a crowd very often. Is that because you guys don't actually sort of do it where the population is, or what?
Oh, no, I mean, street circuits are popular. People come to see bikes race around street circuits. It's, you know, we get big crowds for big meetings at circuits, but yeah, street circuits seem to bring people out.
Tell us about your bike.
Basically just a 350 Honda twin, very heavily modified. There's not much 350 twin in it anymore, but yeah, they go very well for what they are.
I'm intrigued by the number of guys who actually totally changed the bike. They put all sorts of bits on them, and you're allowed to modify them until you're too scared to ride it.
Yes, yeah, well, internally you can do what you like. Externally they must appear the same as they were when they left the factory motor-wise, but you know, and all the bits you put on them must be from that pre-72 period. So
it's got to be kept within the spirit, is what you're saying?
It is, yes, yeah, and all the bits are got to be from that period. You can't use later model componentry to make it, to get an unfair edge.
On the way home, do you go through your mind where you could have picked up half a second here and where you could have taken somebody on the inside or something?
No, not really. We just come for a lot of fun. I mean, anyone that rides 10/10 on a street circuit is going to crash. It's too dangerous. You know, I mean, there's straw and gravel and oil on the corners, so yeah, you just yeah, no, ride fairly carefully.
You'll be looking for the next one, though?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, Greymouth X. Yeah.
It seems as though it's quite a series.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it's very well supported. Great fun. Not so much an emphasis on winning as on performing and sportsmanship and bike preparation, and yeah.
People don't mind the fact that you don't get a prize if you were first or whatever?
Oh, getting first is prize enough. It's yeah, just yeah, no, people don't mind. I mean, it gives everyone a chance of getting a trophy then.
Reverse grids and handicap races, are they a bit tough on you?
No, not at all. No, they're good fun. Yep. It gives everybody a chance to get up front that way, doesn't it? So no, it's very good.
That's just some of the characters and some of the action that held Rakaia spellbound on a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon. Basically, classic motorbike racing is obviously exceedingly popular, and if this event is any indication, I would suggest it is going to build from strength to strength. I'm Rob Cope Williams. Trust you enjoyed your motorsport.